Hi everyone, it's Andrew from &RC, as you probably know because you tuned in, and we are here to do the next video update of Terry's MC6 restoration. Now, mostly this is going to be about the windows, but I'm going to just show you the cab. I've got a far more satisfactory paint finish on it. I've painted it, I've filled some of the holes, I should say, so a lot of the body holes that were on here Terry doesn't want anymore for his lights and things, so they've been filled in, and I've got a coat of silver on it. So you remember in the previous chapter we had the primer and the crocodiling, and all of that's a thing of the past now. So it now has a coat of silver enamel on it from Plasticoat, which was, I tried a few different paints to see which would crocodile and which didn't, and this didn't. So top marks for Plasticoat, and this is, I can't remember exactly which shade of silver it is, it doesn't really matter. But the point of the silver is that it, well, it works, and it's going to make the red pop quite a lot. Once I put the red gloss on, the red's going to really ping out of that. So that's there, and it's going to get some red on it tonight, I would think. But before I get into all that business, we're going to talk about the windows. So I have here one of the windscreen panes. I don't know which, I think it must be that one. And we're going to talk about cleaning them up. The window panes are a bit of a state. Even Terry will admit that. First to admit it, in fairness. They have got a sort of enamel paint wash to suggest windscreen wiper action. Fortunately, that'll just scrape off, so I'm not too fussed. That would come off relatively easily. They have been super glued in several times, and you can see there is a bulk of super glue around the edges of them. Okay. So what I've done is I've soaked them in WD-40 for a couple of days, which helps make the super glue a little bit brittle, and as a result of that, I would then use my fingernail, my thumbnail particularly, being my strongest, to chip away as much as I can. You've seen me already chipping away at the super glue inside the window frames. Well, the same I've got to do to this. So I've got ideally two flush surfaces to bond back when I put them in. So yeah, the super glue has to come off. So I will use, what I'm going to try and do is avoid using anything harder and sharper than the glass, the plastic. So I'm using my fingernail because it won't scratch the plastic. I would try some wooden stuff probably not hard enough. I think in the old days I had some of this, but yeah, and I've tried this already. It's not really hard enough lollipop stick. My next implement would be something with a flat but not terribly sharp edge, like a screwdriver. I know it feels sharp, and the more rounded that section is, the better, to then just try and push the super glue off. You know, so that would be what I'd try and do. I don't want to go, especially not on the flat sides, I don't want to be digging in and scratching the plastic. The whole idea is I don't want to scratch the plastic, and super glue doesn't affect the surface that it's sitting on, it just grips onto it. So if you can ping the super glue off, your surface will be, to all intents and purposes, undamaged. So you don't want to be damaging it. I could take the knife and start ripping it across, but then I'm scraping lumps off the plastic, and you've got to repair that, and you're just making matters, well, you're not really fixing anything, you're just making it different. I could use the metal rule. That would be another, it's got a reasonably sharp edge, and just, see, and just take it across like that, especially on the areas that are going to be behind the sills, you know. So if I do scratch the plastic, it's not going to show up, and that's where the majority of the super glue is, of course. Not that much of it comes into the visible section. So that's the kind of thing I will do, to chisel away at it, and it might take all night to do one window pane. I tend to just sit in front of the TV and do it. The joys of living on your own is you don't annoy somebody by sitting clicking away at super glue. It will give eventually. It will give eventually. Now, that's all well and good, and I was going to show you how that worked and how you know, the end product and how wonderful. What I would then do, I should say, is once I've got the super glue off, is I would try and just ease the enamel off. As I say, I think it will just scrape off anyway. Like you can see, the thin wash section is just, it will just scrape off, and this is maybe where a lollipop stick will just take it away. You see it cutting away there? I hope you can. I don't know what you can or can't see. Yeah, but I can just take away, yeah, that curve of, and there's no damage done to the plastic, so I could easily get rid of this enamel off the top there. It's no problem. What I would then look to do is polish it. Now, I don't think I really have any polishing compound here with me. I used to have, but it's long dried up, to actually polish this up. If I needed to take some fine grade sandpaper, well, I've got plenty of that. I have got fine grades of sandpaper in here. But what I don't have is the final polishing compound. Toothpaste will cut it back and do a nice job of getting rid of everything off the surface, but it will be opaque. It will not be clear when I've toothpasted it. So I would need some fine polishing compound to bring the shine back. And then I would have probably got some clear coat, Johnson's clear coat, or whatever it's called these days, floor polish, and dipped it in, because that is a funny compound. It stretches, it contracts. As it dries, it contracts, and as it gets tighter, of course, it gets smoother, and then, of course, as it gets smoother, it gets shinier. So once I'd worked on all of this, I would then just dip it in some Johnson's Clear, as it used to be with a K, and let it drip off, and then it'll just air dry in a few minutes, and you know, rest it up against something, and it will go nice and shiny. However, all of that is unnecessary because something happened, and that's what happened. I snapped the one I was working on. I don't know whether the WD-40 has made the plastic a little bit brittle. It seemed to snap quite easily, which I wasn't expecting, as you probably would think. I'm bound to say, aren't I? I just had it in my hand because I was just trying to get, instead of leaning down, I had it up here, and actually Terry messaged me, so I was just doing this, and I looked at the phone, and snap, it went. So, hey ho. So that's the end of those, right? Now, fortunately, we had bought some plastic sheeting. And I mean, I don't wish to sound big-headed, but I would have thought about this. However, I will give credit to Simon at Green Models, because what happened is Terry ordered some replacement glass, and I don't have it up here. I'll probably do somewhere. He ordered some replacement glass straight away. When we decided he was doing this, got the glass ordered. It is the wrong glass. It's the glass for the previous incarnation of this kit, which was all flat packed and so on, and the windows are different sizes, oddly, and they don't fit. So that's a waste of time. And Simon at Green Model said, I can't tell you when I'll get the new glass in, but just try making some. So we had a look on the internet, had a look on Amazon as it was, and we found some plastic sheeting which is the same width. I mean, it is. I thought this was a millimetre thicker, but it's actually the same width. So plastic sheeting it is. So the other night I cut 2 sheets out. This was the first one, as you can tell, because it's got a lump missing from it. I basically scored the big sheet and tried to snap it out, like Lexan, you know. I was thinking I could snap it, and I could almost snap it, but okay, that fits inside the frame, so it's not going to be a big deal, as you can see. So that will fit in there, and no big deal. Okay, you can't see it. It's got its protective coating on front and back, obviously. I was a bit concerned that the different colours of backing meant a different finish or something, but it doesn't. It's perfectly clear. Don't know why they've got 2 different colours, but they have. As well, I cut them off the same piece of glass, obviously, and I just cut them, you know, symmetrical like that. But of course, what I hadn't realised is because it was late at night last night. It was about 11 o'clock at night. Are they going to go in a cab like this? So again, I panicked because it wasn't going to look the same. But the plastic backing is irrelevant. So hooray! We have two nicely fitted, piece of cake to cut as well. Incidentally, guys, if you haven't got a razor saw, get one. Okay, you need this for cutting plastic. They are beautiful things. Scale modelers use them all the time. The teeth are angled backwards, so it doesn't cut. It's not designed to cut that way. Obviously, if the thing's really soft, it will, but it's not. It doesn't rip into the stuff going that way. It only cuts that way, which means you've got control. You're not pushing away from yourself and losing it. You're pulling it back, okay? And it will cut any plastic like a knife through butter. It's really, really good. So these took, this one that I cut out properly, didn't snap any of it out, took 2 minutes. So yeah, wicked. So we now have two new windscreens. What I'm also going to do indoors, I'm either going to make new windows. I don't know, I can't remember what the state the plastic the originals are in. But I'll probably just cut new ones out. What I want to do with the doors, I haven't got the sprayed outer ones. They are downstairs. Yes, they're downstairs. This is the inside section of the doors. You can see with the handle and stuff. There's a silver pane, a silver strip that runs down them. And in reality, they're a sliding window. So I'm going to maybe either just cut to the center pane, so we've got a side open as if the window's been slid back. I might actually put a very thin strip of Lexan or something in the back, just so that it looks like there's a little bit, with a handle on it or something. I'll see how bothered I can be. But it might be nice to have a little open window, I think, just to see Terry's, Jesus Christ figure who drives this rig. And but he hasn't got any legs, so I don't know how much detail Terry wants to be revealed. The famous legless driver. Right, so that's the glass wars. So there you go. Thank you, folks. I'm going to go and put some red on this. So our next chapter in this saga will be finishing the paint. I mean, as I said, it's going to have a black roof, so I don't know how much I can say about spraying this thing. You probably just find that the next installment it might actually be painted, and we'll talk a little bit about what's gone wrong with that, because it seems every stage is blighted by problems. But that's the hobby, isn't it? You've got to improvise and adapt with a lot of this. All right, so there you go. Have a good evening, folks. I'm off downstairs while there's still a little bit of light left in the sky. It's 7:20 in the evening, and the winter nights are drawing in now in the UK. So I'm off to do that, and I shall catch up with you soon. Thanks for watching, as always. Okay, these will be coming pretty quick as well. So hit the bell so you get to see when the next upload's going on, and I'll have this finished in no time. I would think in a couple of weeks this will be rolling in its new colours, and I'm going to regret saying that, aren't I? Yeah. Okay. Anyway, cheers, guys, and thanks for watching.